we go, launching into how to paint in Procreate. It took me about 2 hours to finish this painting, and I'm going to try to get it done as quick as I can with as much valuable information. So let's get into it. Here's the Procreate window, various things, and that's the finished product. So let's go back in time. So this brings it right back to the beginning, and here we go. What's this? Some basic things, messing around a little bit. There's a reference photo, and looks like, oh wow. Oh yeah, that's the old drawing that I did on the other, for the other tutorial on shapes. Alright, so, start from the beginning. Moving in time here. Just sketching out the basic shapes. Using a lot of straight lines to kind of get the basic shapes in, the basic gesture. Now, taking a photo is one aspect of art, and drawing is another. So I don't think you need super perfect realism with drawings, because that's what a photo's for if you really want to do that. It's more about how you're reacting to the shape and the color and the form and the feeling you get and how it connects in that way. And that's why it's called fine art. It's exalted in that way, that it has the impression of the person that's reacting to the image they're looking at. Whereas the photograph, you can adjust the light and adjust the composition of many things, but at the end of the day, it's frozen in time. It's not better or worse, it's just different. So here we go, moving along. Starting with basic shapes, filling it in a little bit, using some texture for the hair. Just playing around, kind of building in a bit. Threw in a little black backsplash of color on a new layer. Change the background. Now I'm really just kind of looking for a color palette, trying different colors and different tones, just shaving away and shaping, adding a little more value to the eyes. Playing around with the color. Now, a way to cheat is to bring the photograph into Procreate, and you can actually color sample directly from the photograph to build your own color palettes, which is cool if you want to learn or whatever. If you want to do it, however, it's all good every way. But I actually looked at my phone while I was doing this, so all the colors are completely picked by my eye, which is a good skill to have. So I like what's happening there with the nose, kind of defining that nose and bringing darker value on that cheek. And this is kind of like choppy. And now the lips too. Highlight on the nose, highlight on the forehead. It's looking nice. Now what I'm doing with the cheek is I'm using the blending tool, which is awesome. It's basically like a blender for your paintbrush strokes. You think of it like that. I love that little line that's happening in the lip, that little sharp line. Anytime you can achieve really drastic edges, it's great. So here we go. That neckline is gorgeous. I like that image right there. I try to be as spontaneous as I can. Okay, so from here to here, I erased the drawing layer. So this is all one layer. This is the drawing layer. And then painted underneath it. Got it to a certain point, and now we took the training wheels off. Now we're just straight painting. And it's looking pretty cool. We're getting some definition in the eyes. Playing with the eyelash, eyebrow. Putting some nice dark value on the hair. I really like what's happening upon looking at it. And this is sped up for me, so mind you, I took a lot of time to make these choices, so it's kind of cool for me to see the speed metal versions. Putting some blend on the neck there. Now we're getting into the lips. The lips are like really where the emotion is. The lips are really important. Eyes, nose, and lips. Getting a little color in the nose. Just a little quick build on the lips. Shaving that nose down a little bit. Now, I like that. Darkening the eyes a bit. Darkening the eyelashes. It's pretty cool. You can do this on Procreate, actually. So yeah, back to the drawing, and here we are. This is kind of a crucial part right here. You can kind of see how this is building from the drawing. The drawing disappears when moving right along. So yeah, the value on the hair really just shaped it, and the value on the eyes really started to pop it, contrast it with that value on the neckline. And another important thing is we're only using the brights on key areas, like above the eyebrows and by the nose and a little bit on the lip. That's really the high value. The neckline is a high value, but it's not the highest, which is important. Right there. Those darks in the eyes come in, it really starts to take effect. Put a bit of value change at the neckline. And here I used a little trick where you select the eye, and then I just brought it up a little bit to a different proportion. Gosh, I kind of like where I was actually, but it's alright. We're going to stick with it. It's probably more right than where it was, though, but it's all good. That's what we did. So, kind of playing around with that forehead, getting some dimension with the hairline, using some super thin brush strokes for the hair, which I like. And you can see there under the eye that little shape, just like a little twirl. And on the chin, that little twirl. I just kind of like really being free with shapes, and it's like a hidden symbology, hidden messages. That's what's cool about painting. You can be free with that and just move around and do whatever you want. If you like it, it's all good. I'm doing the same thing on the cheeks, some just random shapes. Kind of looks like a tear coming from her eye in an interesting way. I like how this is coming here. Those patterns on the hairline, just random shapes. It all goes back to, the basic shape drawing. Maybe I'll put a link right here so you can check that out. But it's all based on super basic shapes. Even this painting right here is based on simple circles, squares, triangles, basic. Art is difficult, but it's easy. See, like most people, they give you 12 balls and they're like, juggle these. And you're like, what? I hate juggling. But if you start to juggle 2 balls, then you're like, all right, yeah, this is manageable, and you move on. So visual art painting is separated into 3 different categories, which is shape and tone and color. Shape is 2D flat, you're creating the structure, and tone is where you're starting to create dimension, like a black and white photo, right? Like a full spectrum of white values to medium gray, dark gray, black, etc. And the color is basically you're assigning each tone its own color. So the color is obedient to the tone, if you will. The tone maps what value the color is going to be in that way. I kind of like this right here. It's kind of cool just to end it right there. It's an interesting image. I could probably end it right here and be pretty rad, but we're going to keep on moving. We're just putting some definition on the ear there. The face is pretty much done. Wow. Yeah. It's crazy looking at it sped up. So yeah, we're putting some nice highlights in front of the eyes there and on the eyelid. And I got lightweight excited. On the top of the eyebrow there, that's actually blue. So not only is it not just neutral white, it's a bit blue, so it really contrasts the rest of those warm tones in the face and pops out the focal point even more. So that's a nice trick, is to cool down your blues. If you're painting clouds or the sky, that's the number one trick. Is most people, oh, the clouds are cold, so they're like bluish, and you put the blue clouds against the blue sky, and it doesn't do anything. It looks chalky. So against the blue sky, you're going to have the warmth, the reflection from the sun on the clouds. So it's going to have a really nice contrast because blue and orange are opposite on the color wheel, so they're beautifully interlinked as everything is. And so yeah, this is looking good. I like what's happening here. Kind of just chopping away, adding some definition, adding some color. There we go. Fleshing out the nose a bit, getting into the ear. Now with the ear, I'm just kind of spitballing here. It's really about value. It's really about, like, the color isn't that important. It's more about, the range of tone. The color is pretty easy to fix once you have the tone and the shape right. That's why you do shape first and then tone. And color is really it's just like delicious frosting. Color is not hard. Color is pretty easy. What's difficult is measuring the shapes and measuring the tones. That's probably like 80% of the weight. But it's necessary to do that before the color. Otherwise, your color really has no place to live. It's like you can't really eat the icing until you have a cake, to eat it from. You can't just, you can have an icing cake, but, if you wait and have, some fluffy cake to build the icing on, then it's just more delicious. So that's the color analogy. It's a perfect analogy. All right, here we go. So that's starting to look cool. Bam, look at that. That's cool, but bam, that's cooler, I think. I like that better. So the ears in place, and I actually got the eraser and got a super thin brush just to put some texture, some reverse texture in the hair, which is really visually interesting. Like the hair is kind of like, catching light or something. And we're gonna make the shirt a bit darker. I like that. It shows a little more tension in the face. And this was immediate, just playing around with those shapes on the shirt, just real loose, real wild, just the raw, not a lot of mental thought, just like brap, which is what I love. John Singer Sargent, one of the greatest painters ever, he said the first third of a painting should be wild, the second restrained, and the third wild, which is perfect wild analogy. So yeah, this is looking really great. If we didn't end it there, we could, but I think I put something awesome. Yeah, we put the background to put like a little black mark on here, I think. Well, what else did I do here? Yeah. Bam, right there. Look at that. Way better. Just add some visual contrast, some dynamism, some uh, nice thick lines to contrast the thin lines, give some visual interest. And right here, maybe I'll do a close-up. I just wanted to demonstrate like how it's all an illusion and how the structure of shape is really crucial because everything is broken down as circles, triangles, and squares. So if you look at this closely, it's really just tiny little complete abstract shapes all woven together in a pattern. And it looks like reality and it looks like it's all blended and painted, but really, it's tiny shapes that are coming together to create the illusion of something more complex. So if you keep the simplicity in your head as you go, then it will serve you. Yeah. Check out that other video on shapes, part 1 drawing class, then you'll see a little more in depth how magical shape is. I can't get over how much I love shapes. So yeah, the ear is looking splendid. Everything's looking splendid. I'm really happy with this. It's almost done. Did I add anything else? Yeah, I just took down did I keep that? I took down the back a little bit to add texture, but I think I got rid of it. Yeah, what else did I do there? Just kind of playing around with the eyes. Ooh, I tossed in some flossy little eyelashes, which I like. Yeah, Yeah, add a little more character. Kind of like emotion. Like look at that. Like no eyelash is like more serious, and you add the eyelash, and there's like some like emotion, like almost like sadness, and that's the subtlety of drawing and painting that you can't really capture in a photograph. It's like you're choosing that, you're responding to that. It's really quite something looking at that eyelash, you know. Art is so cool. Yeah, so here we go. Moving along, blase. I think right there I was playing around with like contrast and color, and actually ended up with a contrast, which I like. That's no contrast. I didn't change any of the color balance actually. My color, I'm pretty happy with the color. Just added a bit of contrast, not much, but a bit, and voila, here it is. Super happy with this. My friend Kathy, who I met as an Uber driver, and we connected and hung out for like 15 minutes and did some drawing, and it was a really cool experience. One of my favorite Uber experiences. Yeah, so Kathy's rad. She lives in New York now. She's an amazing artist. Um, yeah, so here we go. All the way back to the beginning. A quick backwards view. Yeah, that would be interesting. Let's go backwards. So here's the finish. And maybe I'll just scan backwards all the way here. Da 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 da. Oh, right here. Yeah, you see by the forehead, I was playing around with like a little bit of light, like an ethereal aura. Like right there at the forehead, you can see those light lines. Playing around with that, I actually kept it. Subtleties, And the hair looks like there's movement happening. There's texture, which I like. So moving backwards. I really like the simplicity, but I like that. Ugh, that's just rough. I love it. I love it more. But this is sick. I like that. I would be I like that ear right there, just rough like that. I would be very happy with this as an illustration, as is. Even with that little dot of pink, it's like kind of perfectly placed. I love it. But yeah, that's fresh. Simple's good. Like, you know, that's that is what it is. It's what I wanted and I love it, you know. But this is gorgeous and simple, and yeah, something to think about in terms of knowing when to stop. But that's what's so cool about digital art. Like I can use this. This is mine. I can do whatever I want with that. That's a finished illustration. So what's why digital art is pretty cool, especially for illustration, print media or online media even more, is you can go back in any of your iterations, you can use those, and yeah, it's pretty cool. So we're just losing. Ooh, I like that eye effect. That cloudy eye is kind of cool. I like it. Yeah, I add a little more highlight. Yeah, that eye is better, but that's kind of cool. It's like woof, like a little zombie spookiness, like cloudy, far away type look. So we're going backwards, losing definition. It's like a skeleton, like losing all the muscles and the flesh and turning back into skeleton mode. There's the drawing mode, getting really choppy. That's when I was figuring out the color palette that I was going to use. Getting a better color, came up with the color palette really quick. Just a few colors. It worked pretty well. Going backwards, blase, back to the line drawing. It's a pretty little drawing. Just playing around with lines, trying to get the shapes right, the proportions right, get the feeling right, but not overthinking it. Going backwards. I like that. Super basic shapes of the eye and the nose and the lips, but look at that. Like look at how much personality is there. So that's what's so cool about shapes is this is like chicken scratch, but there's something there. There's life. That's why shape is so powerful, and drawing and gesture is so powerful. There's so much life with such little effort. These symbols are ancient and informative. Go back and a few strokes, and that's it. All right. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Take care.